Good day and welcome to Elementary 72 Gaming. Right now is the second video on the discussion of the EVE event, and this time I have somebody else with me to see where we both see things that happen in this event. And my special guest today is Sheev'S from Sheev'S Palace. Say hi, Sheev'S.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for joining.
You know
All right.
what? It's fun for me to have you around. We get along. We can speak nicely, and most importantly, the message gets out to two communities at the same time. Some people may not be on your community but are on mine, and some people may be on your community that aren't on mine. So you get your message across to a whole other group of people, and I get my message across to others. So I see it as a win-win. There's no loss in this for anybody.
No, it's just good. It's
hmm
good.
So, how have you been enjoying the event over these past few days?
Well, the first event got cancelled, and I was actually I was going to be for that. It's that I think that was supposed to be during the night. I don't know, but I was going to be on that one, but that got cancelled. And this last one, I kind of missed that one because I started my job recently. So yeah, I haven't really been on it. I have watched the live stream afterwards, so I saw how everything went. I saw the loot. I saw how it got launched pretty much. But yeah, I wasn't there.
Same here. First night at around 1 a.m., I was all ready to go. I was getting everything ready for a quick recording session so that I could record the game, talk to everybody, have everything going. And just as I'm getting ready, next thing you know, they announced that that the content creator had a problem. And obviously, we know that they caused a ton of issues. A lot of people just gave up on the event based on the first night. I don't see it so much as the content creator's problem. I see it more as an Eve problem, because any reasonable person knows that you have to have a plan for the worst case scenario. If the content creator can't show up or if he's going to be late, you have to have something else to help with the main attraction. And I think Eve really failed on that. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It was not well done when they just said it's postponed until further notice. I felt that was very bad because a lot of people actually maybe took time off just to sit and do this stuff. So it was very bad.
So one of my points on a video I've already made, which is going to pop up the day before this one launches, is a video where I actually said where they failed in the event, and I pointed out three major problems. Number one, the event had a big hype for the moment, but they weren't keeping people interested in the game. They only had one person's view on the game. They didn't have him transfer any of his crowd towards the game. They didn't have them transfer to other players who may have had more experience with the game or actual combat experience with the game. And the second problem with that on the following is, even though this event is nice and big, it's only going to benefit for 4 days. They're not giving away enough prizes for everybody, and the event is too short. And the last but not least of all the problems is they absolutely failed to host this event. They tried to be too greedy on how much of loot they gave, and they've absolutely ruined it. On my scale out of 10, I give them a negative 1,000 for this event. You?
Oh yes, I haven't scaled it, but it was a big fail, indeed. There's so much stuff that I don't really approved, but as you say, the content creator, the YouTuber who was driving the fighter, he had no idea what the game was. And for people like us who knows the game, we easily see that. I mean, even if it starts off with I played this game before, and it was great. I assumed that he had played at least like a week or like 2 days at least, but it was apparent that he did not even know how to shoot the guns. He wasn't supposed to shoot the guns, but he was actually trying to kill people in his fighter, and I just felt it was hilarious. He sounded like a great guy, but he obviously did not know anything about the gear. He was talking about the stats in totally the wrong way. Um, so yeah, it was very weird. He had no idea. They moved him around with, I think it was like a Tempest Striker. So they fleeted him up and warped him away, like around. And I mean, Eve, we have people everywhere. So as soon as he shows up, people will swarm. And even though he acted like, oh my god, these guys are the best in the game, they found me first. I was like, yeah, but you were tapping on their door. I mean, it's not weird. So stuff like that kind of was weird. Yes.
Okay, right. Then the next thing that I have to really complain about in this event was the loot drop. the big the big hype about this was the fact that you're going to destroy this capital ship and it's going to drop loot. And we know the capital ships have this amazing cargo haul. They have a haul bigger than most of us have in our complete corps in a station. So we expected that type of loot to drop. I don't know if you were along the same idea, because obviously if they're throwing away such a big thing, they most definitely should have loaded it. But what dropped from the loot was absolutely abysmal. And I know I'm using a big word for no reason, but to be honest, it should have been such a big drop that it would have caused a hype about everybody trying to steal the loot. And there should have been a war over the loot, just picking it up. But we didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see people scrambling all over the place trying to kill each other. We just saw a bunch of people blow up a ship, collect peanut gallery loot, and go away after a fight like nothing happened. I don't know if you have the same opinion on that.
Oh yes. Oh yes. It was just a plain old fight. It was nothing special. And as you say, the loot was it was minuscule. I mean, if you have a freighter, I thought at least we would get like a 10% drop of the whole the cargo, and that would maybe include like 100 pieces at least. And I mean, I don't understand why they did what they did. They gave us like 5 items that some guy got, unless some items got destroyed. I mean, 5 items. We could have easily got 100 items, and the market wouldn't care. I mean, it would just disappear anyway. And 5 items. I mean, the items are so rare, so that they can't. I mean, you can't even sell them. I mean, even if you sell them for the price they are worth, like 15 billion, I mean, there's only one. So the prices is not 15 billion, it's a lot more. So it's unsellable. And I mean, the one who got, for example, the autocannon, the Mitsuru autocannon or whatever it was. I mean, let's say that he has a striker of some sort, and he wanna use that gun. Is he going to use like 7 C types and then that one? It's just. I mean, it's not gonna be useful. It's so bad.
To be honest, with the entire value of just one item, you definitely could outfit yourself with a full um, army worth of faction ships, right? You could get yourself a faction battleship, faction cruiser, and a faction frigate, and that'll be quite
Oh
simple
yes.
from the value of just one of these. Sorry, one of these X type pieces of equipment. But the big problem that they had with this was they tried to be too conservative of the fact that they are end game items. And even though they are end game items, I'm just being frank about it, they don't have such a big advantage over what's already in the game that they are unbeatable. If Even if they did the 10%, which by the way, I did take a workout on how big that capital ship hull is. The capital ship hull is a million plus cubic meters. So the most I can hold on something like Drake or a Naga is something near 3 or 400 million in just a few items. And if I only did valuable items, it will be somewhere in the billions, between 2 and 3 billion for a complete hull. So if you're counting that, the complete value of that entire drop when it came to this event should have been somewhere in the figure of about 30 billion just from destroying the ship. And that's what people should have been fighting over to pick up. 30 billion worth of loot from killing one person. And it wouldn't be such an abysmal turnout because there'll be so many people scrambling to try and get whatever they can. And you're going to play multiple strategies. You're going to get people decloaking out of invisible ships, pulling loot and running. You're going to get people who try to play the blocker. They're going to block you from getting loot and they're going to smash you when you try to grab it. So if you decloak, they're just going to lock you and blast you. And we didn't get to see that type of fighting because there was nothing to fight over. There was such a limited amount of loot. They had someone who was there without any experienced player with him. To be honest, even if those were devs in the campus striker, they were absolutely not playing this right. If you had three capital ships fighting against an armada of players, that would be more fun because they'd at least be able to hurt somebody and destroy their ships. But this didn't help out for anybody's purpose. It only helped to just infuriate the community more because they took out time from their day. They went in for this big loot drop and they got nothing. It's giving them a big prize to aim for and then telling them, sorry, it's the luck of the draw, you get nothing. That was really not the way that it should have been handled.
I totally agree.
Hmm.
This was very very poorly executed.
Now, there's one other thing that I'm really, really sour about from how they handle the event. This event was definitely going to be good for these 5 days in the game. It might see a slight player boost, but there are three other problems that follow the small player boost to the game. That is, we don't have enough of a retention possibility for future content. They didn't try and set up something where these types of programs were going to be more constant in the game. Obviously, you can't hire the big names every single month. They're too expensive and you can't hire them every week either.
Of
But
course.
in the game, you have guys like me, you have guys like yourself, we have Benzi, we have so many of the others. Throw them a bone, give them something in the game. You know what? Unlimited Omega for you. You get unlimited Omega, and we'll give you. I'm just saying, like a fair this thing. Unlimited Omega for you. So every week you're going to keep doing events for us. You're going to show up. You're going to do this event. You're going to do that event. These are the events that are planned for you, and we'll give you a faction shop at the end of every month. So if you want, you're going to keep getting big attractions to call people in, and we'll give you complete insurance for that complete vessel. So if it gets blown up, you just message the devs, content creator, blah blah blah. The ship was destroyed in the event, and it will be replaced for you. It gives the content creators a reason to give more content to the game. At the rate that it's currently going, they're trying to make money off their content creators. And the content creators don't have an audience because there's nothing new to give anybody information on. I hope I'm not being too negative on that side. I know you're still doing a lot of Eve content. I'm also doing Eve content for a year almost. But the thing is, with what they did here, they didn't keep the continuation. They didn't keep momentum on this. They don't have something to save us from the dead periods between nothing in the game. So when something launches, we don't have something to go after. They don't have an event like the Grand Nihilus heist or the station hunt, where you actually get a content creator, you give him an incentive, and you give him prizes to give out to his audience. You know what? Something simple. Okay, this week we're having a quick challenge. Nester isn't on the market as yet, so we're giving out 900 Nester hulls. Anybody who joins my fleet, you have a 1 in 10 chance of being selected for 50 Nester hulls. You have any idea how big the turnout will be for that? Because there's nobody with that ship. And if that happens for
Yeah.
a complete week, every single day, every single episode, that person's community is going to grow like crazy. And when their community is going crazy on YouTube or Twitch, more people get recommended. And when one person gets big, it's a good thing. That means you get more people who are going to jump into your game to get a hold of these small free things. But there's an even bigger idea because you want to make sure that you don't have a mistake like what happened on the first day of the event. So instead of just one content creator, make sure they're working in teams, 3, 4, 5 people. Example, myself and Sheev'S, if we are going out and we're hosting the event, if Sheev'S has a family emergency, I can sit there and play. And he doesn't lose out on what was supposed to be there. The people of the community feel happy about everything. You don't get to disappoint them. And instead of having this temporary social media posts, you can have the posts directly in the game. You can use the billboard like they did for most of the events that we have, and it'll just give you a time
Yeah.
scale, and you'll just see Sheev's Palace, YouTube, right? Elementary, YouTube, everybody's links are on the side. And you just go to them on your day, you see where they are. And each time one of the events comes up, you see the opportunities to link to their channels, quick and easy. Everybody's flowing around, you're causing this big hype through the game. By the end of a month, you'll have 2 to 3 million more people playing the game. That's the success of Raid. That's the success of
Yeah.
Seven Deadly Sins, Starcross. I don't know if you've seen that game. That's the success of Infinity
Yeah. Yeah.
Kingdoms. I know I'm ranting on quite heavily there, but that's my opinion on
Well,
where they failed. Do you have anything to say on it?
oh yeah, I totally agree. I'm not sure how that would work, but probably we could get like a new account where we did this stuff with. But I would be game for that. That is a very good idea. I think definitely that would put more people into the game. And as you say, we only have a finite of videos we can make about the game. I'm trying every day to think up stuff that would be interesting, but a lot of stuff has already been made, and I just, like, personally, I don't want to make videos just to make videos. I want to have something to say, and the videos dry out. I mean, we need more stuff to talk about. So I'm I do like the arena. I think that was a great idea. They are talking about having it like 24/7, and yeah, sure, that is cool and that is very good. I think it's great for new players, but for me personally, I mean, it's good. I think it's fun to do it once in a while, but like I don't want to be a pro at arena because the only loot that I get is from the like LP store that I have to level up, and that's gonna take like half a year. And I mean, winning an arena is not as fun as winning in game. It's pretty much like playing in like on the test server. It's not incentive to work for it in my situation that I have right now, but um I would really see these items from the freighters to go out on the market, that people can buy them, and some people sell them cheaper because they need money, and all that could have been so much better. And what you're saying is a good solution to it. I hope that they listen to this and
Well,
take some notes.
we
I mean,
actually
yeah,
we actually did go over all of this when you first interviewed me to your video.
yeah,
Remember? We did go over all of this
yeah,
in just a much smaller idea. As I said, they could have kept rolling out content for us on a permanent base. And obviously, we know where Eve is going. To be honest, I'm really done with the gameplay because there is nothing new about the game. They just try and hype silly little things. I'm not being totally against everybody who enjoys the pure PvP aspect, but here's all the problems. They're on a mobile game platform, right? So mobile games are casual games. They aren't super serious. So you have to have that heavy casual aspect to your game. They remove the heavy casual aspect. They removed any chance of protection. They removed the easy earnings. So you now had a non-casual game with heavy damage dealing and major PvP. That means it's no longer relaxing. It's no longer a part-time thing to play this game. You have to play it seriously with large amounts of time devoted. So you eliminated college students, you eliminated family members, not family members, family teams. You eliminated a lot of the key aspects that play a big role in these games because families will compete with each other in most games. And since this game
yes,
isn't as fun anymore, and you can't just go around and wreck 101 dead spaces and come out with the billions in a week, those players who are that talented to be able to pull out that 10 and 20 billion a week aren't everybody. They a dime in a dozen. Out of the 2 million who started the game, they were most probably about less than 1%. And all of those who were really doing it were keeping very quiet about making those figures because you're blowing this money in the game and you doing whatever you want to while the rest of your teammates and the rest of your corp are busy crying about the poverty because they're losing ships in wars while you're running around and making endless ISK. But there is the fun of it. because you could always help your corp when it came down to it. They had a big war. You show up in your succubus, you show up in your Gila, and all of a sudden the whole war turns to favor you because you've got the big gun in the fight. Someone shows up in a battle cruiser, you take them out with what was that ship? I'm forgetting it. Um, the
It,
the Shield Guardian from the faction ships in the
oh yeah,
cruisers.
yeah,
I'm forgetting
yeah.
its name. Do you remember it?
Like yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't know you were talking about a specific. Um, were you talking about any guardianship?
No, the faction Guardian ship from the the pirates in Amar space. Um, not the Angel
What
Cartel.
do they?
Sanchez.
Oh, you mean the
Sanchez.
bug? What Sanchez? Oh, you mean Nightmare?
Not Nightmare. Nightmare
No.
is the battleship. I'm forgetting the one in the center. I can't believe I forgot it. It
Oh,
was one of
you
my
mean the
Phantasm.
Phantasm?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay,
Yeah, sorry about that. I got so lost with the names of my
yeah,
ships. I forgot about the
yeah.
Phantasm. I forgot about almost everything in that class. I can't remember their names. I just remembered Gila because
Oh,
it's
all right.
what is it? Gila and Raven. I'm forgetting what the frigate is. Although I know all the frigate names, I forgot which one belongs to that
Yeah,
class. The
the
worm,
Gila and the
worm,
rattlesnake,
worm, Gila,
and then
and
the worm.
rattlesnake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are fantastic ships. When you saw people showing up with any one of the faction vessels, everybody used to go in a hype because you knew that the fight was about to turn in your favor. Because you had this big
Oh
firepower
yeah,
showing up. Once they get into your shield, you know that you have like four ships worth of advantage all of a sudden, and you just see the enemy is running after this one ship. All of the pressure is taken off your army,
oh yeah,
and you'll just rally to that point, and that's how wars were won. And then you had the political game which was going on. I honestly did enjoy the political game in the start, but eventually it got way too difficult to play because everybody just decided to side up with the big bad in the game, and that was the end of it. They lost their whole gameplay, and it became too much of accusation type gameplay to get rid of anybody who had backing behind them. I know they did it to myself, they did it to several other players. They used any accusation they could to pull you out of a seat which really gave you power. And it really
yeah.
was a bad move on the side of those who did it. I don't know if you have any of those experiences yourself.
No, no, I don't actually.
Mm, that's good.
But yeah, yeah. But it is just as you say. The casual gamers has been scared away, and is I think that's very bad. We need. I mean, this game would work best if we had 70% casual gamers and 30% hardcore players. That would be the perfect like teams. And we don't have that. So we only have the hardcore players that pull in all the items and that are very good at the game. So the market doesn't work. And then we have the insurance and there's so much stuff that needs to be tweaked really. And this event they had really did not help. I mean, yeah, we might have got 1,000 more players. I don't know, but
But
it was hard
mm,
for the fighter pilot to convey how good the game was. They didn't understand anything they saw. They just saw,
mm,
dots and squares, and that he died. They didn't understand anything of the game. If I wouldn't play it, I probably would just like look at it and be like, oh, it's kind of like a 4X game. I don't know. I don't really like it. So it wasn't a good um, thing in that sentence, really. They should have someone that actually know the game and could explain a lot of stuff. And as he was flying the freighter, he could give a brief idea what the game is and what you can do and all that stuff. He should have done that.
yeah, that's also very true. Another thing on that similar line, imagine if he was sitting with, for example, you and me as part of his team. Can you imagine the amount of chatter he would have had on that entire situation? we could have hyped up something, like how we were hyping up our
Of
fight, which
course.
was which we might still have if we can manage to land one of these events. Um, but nonetheless, can you imagine if we were there with him? We'll be telling him, yeah, this game is fantastic and there's so much of a mechanic to it, and you might be using this type of weapon, but there's four
Yeah.
other types of weapons that you can use. This weapon is fantastic. It does this type of damage, that type of damage. It's used to obliterate this type of ship. And we can explain something like that. Like, a lot of people still don't even
Of course.
understand the use of missiles. People don't understand where torpedoes are good. People don't understand where long range missiles are good and where rapids are good. And everybody has different
People don't
opinions on it.
understand anything about the game
Yeah.
unless they play it.
Eh,
And he was talking like the people. He was talking to us, the players right now, and he was saying, "Oh, you see this pink weapon or this purple weapon? You want this, right? Yeah, 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 I know you want this." And I was like, "Dude, what?" It's like, I don't, yeah, I don't know. I found it a bit cringy. I sat and cringed, and I was like, "Dude, don't say that." And he was talking about some stuff that wasn't even relevant, like, well, the micro warp drive. Look at this; it's got 50,000 nm. Oh my god, you see this? And I was like, "Yeah, everyone has it, even the tech one." So I don't know why you brought that up at all. So he should have a co-partner like you and me or someone else that knows the game, and it's like,
for the
"Oh, look
best
at this. What is this, Sheev? Can you please explain what is this gun?" And I would like tell him what kind of gun it is, so people could understand it, and then I would talk more about the weapons, and that's how it should have ended, exactly as you said.
for the best partner, from the point of view which would be good for Eve and good for the player base, would have been to throw Benzi in and Neon Poison, Rambo, or myself. Because
Yeah, sure.
if you go and look at our channels, we have by far the most content. I have over 400 videos on my channel that belong to Eve. And considering that my channel is 1 year old, on the day that the game turns 1 year old, that means I've done more than a video a day for Eve. And if you count that out
Yeah,
against everything else that's out there, that just tells you, if you want a good image for the game, give it to this guy. And if this guy complains about something, he's complaining about it because he wants this game to be better, because he keeps coming back. He keeps looking for hope in the game. Obviously, I am leaving to Infinite Lagrange. Uh, the reason for it is quite simple. I already knew
yeah,
Eve was on a death bed basically. They put their game in too much of a corner. They removed the casual aspect of it, and now I want to go to another game. I want to see if they learn from their mistakes, because obviously it's another NetEase development, and if they don't
yeah.
learn from their mistakes, then obviously I know in the future I'm just going to put NetEase games on a blacklist. If it shows the NetEase logo, I'm just going to uninstall it the moment I see NetEase. Because if they don't show that commitment to the audience, if they don't show that commitment to people who bring them more followers and subscribers and play content, content creators, then what is the use in supporting the games? If they can't help you grow bigger, why should you help them? And that's really my opinion on them, because after what happened with a lot of the content creators, to be honest, we were over 60 in number, plus there was a lot who weren't part of the official content creators. With an audience like that, to drop down to less than 20 in content creators means you really did something wrong. Because a content creator can sit on your game for 10 years, even if it is absolute hogwash. And for the number they lost, this says that they did a lot of wrong things with the game. So that's why I'm going to the next game. And I am giving them another chance, but this time just with another franchise altogether, because I don't want to go through any more hell with Eve. I don't know if you're on a similar buzz for the game.
No, no, I'm not. I do agree with that. They have done a lot of bad choices in this game, but I will continue actually fighting for this. Try to get an audience with the netties themselves. I've been talking to them on Discord a lot, and hopefully I can get podcast with them and stuff like that. And I will continue to do the videos if I feel that there is subject that I wanna
on,
cover.
on that
So
note,
it's
on
yeah.
that note, from the time the game launched, I think it was 1 month in, I was an official content creator, and I approached the devs to find out if I could review any of the information with them and host a open uh, interview with the devs, those who developed the game. And instead of giving me the chance, or giving any of the other content creators who had asked, they did it themselves. They interviewed themselves. They positioned the questions in such a way that they didn't have any negative questions and they didn't have any major talking points. So they only did a small scale
Yes,
interview. I don't know if you've seen it on the Discord, not on the Discord, on the YouTube channel, but they made the
I
interview.
saw it. I saw it.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
I saw it.
But they made it very focused on what they wanted you to hear. They gave big things like, no, we see the game, no, we're just doing things in a light to keep with the spirit of the game. What spirit were they going after? The spirit of EVE Online, the game which has been infamous for losing audiences and regaining them every few years. That game is lucky that it survived. To be honest, EVE Online is a good game, but the problem with it is it's too punishing for most people, so they phase in and phase out, and they haven't learned from that lesson, and they're trying to repeat it on a base which is far more casual and less forgiving of this type of behavior. So obviously they're going to suffer worse repercussions down the line. Sorry about
Yes,
that.
it might be so. No, 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 it's okay. Um, but yeah, I will still try because Eva Line it can be. I mean, Eve Echoes can be a very good game, and I have a hard time playing other games. I like to try other games, but I want to have something that I can put myself into like for a longer period of time, and I think Eve Echoes is the right one for me. So I will continue this on my channel if you actually are leaving for a while, or if you're coming back. We see, hopefully you are, but if you're not, and your community wants more videos, then my channel will be open. But it's like I will do all I can because my channel started up as kind of a savior for Eve Echoes. So I will keep pushing them, and hopefully I will sit there with them and tell them how to do it and make it so that we get what we want.
So on
I think it works pretty okay right now, but they need to address some of these problems before it's too late.
on the note of great games, right? So I come from a line of playing a lot of these PvE space type games. My major game in the start was back in the early not early, sorry, the late 2000s, with the game called Moonbase. That was one of my first multiplayer MMOs. It wasn't a visual MMO, but basically you played strategy just by using numbers and words. And I played that game effectively for, I think, 2 years. I was top of the server, I was number one in the world, and I held that position in that game. Then after that, I jumped over to the next game, which was Total Domination. I was top 100 after the game had already been active for 2 years. That tells you that I really devote myself to games to find the excellent position. And then after that, I joined another community in the game called Ark of War. And I played that game for about 6 months. And I had a similar problem with Ark of War to what we're having with Eve. And the problem was the devs don't like listening to the audience. When you have issues in the game, they always brush over it. And a lot of people know that Eve Echoes was infamous for lag incidents and people losing their ships
Yeah,
because of inconvenient situations. Like your ship gets stuck in a gate, and an armada surrounds the gate after it's already stuck. And by the time you come out, that armada, which was two jumps behind you, is now in front of you, and you run into them and they kill you. But that is something which you say is just your luck, and it's a lag issue. It's an issue where even if you disconnect from the game, it won't continue moving you like it's supposed to. So there was no excuse for it, but they'll still give you just the ship back, and you have to go and you have to buy whatever fittings were destroyed, and whatever dropped from your cargo haul. That is fair game for whoever destroyed you. That's all that they can compensate you. And that wasn't a fair thing to many players in this game. Similarly, with games like Ark of War, and to be honest, if I judge Ark of War for a game, that is a superb game. But in terms of customer service, it is terrible. And considering the amount of time that is taken to invest into building things up in that game, similarly to Eve, when you have a bad reception from your developers, it means that you're not going to have that passion to keep playing the game. And when you lose that passion, you totally lose the game. And that is where Eve is heading, because eventually, where we are right now, we just have these big tycoon corps. No offense to Pantheon, but nonetheless, they're just big
Uh,
tycoon corps. They can push and
yeah.
pull whatever they want to push and pull because they have all the players in them. People feel safe being in these big corps because they actually have an army that can fight anybody who tries to invade their locations. And they have the crazy wild fighters who want to just kill everybody all the time. But that's the thing. You have these guys. That is the reason why they're surviving, and nobody is there to actually put up a proper fight. When it comes to somebody like Golden Horde, who are basically the golden child uh, for, for a turnaround in the game, they ended up failing against a combined force because their original enemy was Genesis. Genesis was on the back foot. They lost so much, and no offense again, Pantheon's intervention in helping Genesis turn back the tide on Golden Horde messed up the dynamic of the game. It gave Pantheon all the power, but it didn't scatter the power across the other regions of the game. There are several regions in the game where there aren't really any superpowers. Silent and Fireflies. They peanut gallery corps. I'm not even going to go into the fact that they aren't as big as they seem. They have big numbers in their discords because they have big content creators all over the place. But the thing that they lack is actual players. They have a few players and
Yeah.
they have these big armadas and overdone fleets. And when they do it, they go from numbers like 1,000 down to 200. And the reason for it is they continue with that action to foster the nature of being dominant. And when you're trying to be dominant and you're punishing your members, they're not going to come back, and that's how they lost so many members. Similarly to Genesis, similar to Golden Horde, similar to Dead, all of these corps had the exact same problem. Too much of war, too much of time needed for the game, and they ended up killing their corps. That isn't going to change. That is the nature of Eve. I understand that right now because Eve definitely won't be able to lose it. The only way you could lose it is if some crazy, wild idiot jumps in there with the massive PvE corp and takes over everything and really obliterates anybody who has any big say right now. And that would be like 30 or 40 individuals who are well situated with massive corps. So that means the war would be intense just to get what they wanted. And there's no way that's happening anytime soon.
I don't think so either. And on that note, yes. I mean, I'm in Pantheon. I like it. In the beginning, I felt shit. We were 5,000 people. We're a bit smaller now. I think, but it's like um, if I'm not talking about myself, if I'm talking about the game in itself, it's better if we do not have this big alliances right now because we don't have that big of a player base. So this blue donut that we have, it's making a lot of problems in the game. So I agree. I mean, it's bad to say it, but some of the biggest alliances and collaborators should actually split up. It's for the best of the game. But I mean, we are in a situation right now where a lot of people are friends, and I'm not sure how that will work.
You see, the thing is, a lot of people become friends through these games, and enemies can be seen reacting together in high sec, and obviously now they can't be seen reacting together in low sec. But that was the thing. You could go out as an enemy and sit in high sec and run all the easy missions, and nobody was going to say anything against you because you can't complain about, for example, a member of Dead and a member of Genesis sitting in high sec doing a T10 mission. The reason they're doing it is because they're both on the same time zone. They're both having fun with the activity. You don't have a reason to tell them, no, you're not allowed to fraternize with the enemy. That's so pointless. I know it might be a little bit rude to say it like that, But that was the whole thing. They had all of this potential, and they literally flushed it down a toilet when it came to the way that the game developed and the way the corps developed afterwards. Because the moment people got too friendly with people who weren't in the corp, they started to treat you like an outsider. They started to exclude you from their wrecking fleets. They started to make you an interchangeable member when they wanted a spot because they were higher up on the command chain. And it's not fair to a lot of players in the game. Obviously we rented far off from the event, and we ended up hating on Eve. Hopefully we'll be able to do this here on Rambo's podcast, if we do get a chance to jump onto his roundtable. I don't know if you'd be interested.
If I can, I would be interested. Yes.
It's a weekend night. His podcast is generally between 3 and 4 a.m. GMT 2 plus, so about Sweden Central Time.
Ah, crap. Yeah, that's. I might be able, but having a family and stuff, it's hard to
Yeah.
go up in the night as well as being up on the day.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would actually try to do that because that would be very nice. But I will keep working on my channel, and I will get as much subscribers as I need for them to listen to me, and that is my goal. And I've talked about this on my channel before, that you need to have goals in the game because the game is not giving you any goals. So my goal is actually to change the game, and to do that, I need to prove to Netties that I'm serious about this. And they told me, well, you need to get some more followers, pretty much. So that is my goal. I don't have the problem with Eve not being perfect right now. I I go for what I do, and I try to work on Eve as much as I can, and hopefully in the end we will have a result that makes you come back to the game as well.
To be honest, if you really want to grow your game, you need to find another niche audience. You need to find another game along the lines which follow Eve. There's At the moment there's Star Trek Fleet Command, and then there's coming Infinite Lagrange. If you can, sorry, if you can anchor
No
a start
problem.
in Infinite Lagrange, you can most likely make yourself a very big content creator, because jumping in with 300, and if the game takes a launch similar to Eve, you'll have views similar to what I had when I was starting. And I'm not boasting or anything about this, but in my first 2 months, I had 4 videos that topped out over 2,000 views a piece with only about 100 subscribers. So you can imagine that there was like such a big boost to my channel. It threw me up
Oh yeah.
on the views. So a lot of people started seeing my channel just because of 4 videos, and that was because I made them perfectly in the right time the moment those battle cruisers became available. Because the first 2 weeks you only got to cruisers, and then by the eighth week we had the battle cruisers. And the moment I got on it, I immediately said everything about it, and I actually had 4 battle cruisers in order. And I decided to cancel 2 of them so that I could build stations and have a little bit of fun with that. And I ended up getting all my stations stolen. So that was all the things that happened. But it just shows there is so much of potential in these games. And if you can go to a game like Infinite Lagrange and then come back to Eve, you might be able to pull an audience towards Eve and help the devs improve it. And to be honest, I've been working with the devs quite a bit. I've tried a lot to help them steer this game in a positive way, but I've failed too many times, and I don't believe in fighting for hopeless causes. When you offer a person a hand the first time, if they smack it away, you give it to them the second time, and if they turn you down a third time, then you just give up on them. That's the way I do things. I don't know if that's the way you do it.
Yeah, I would probably feel the same,
Oh,
but I have not been smacked down yet. So, but yes, maybe I should try another game as well. As I said, I'm only like in 2 weeks. I'm 4 months in my YouTube career, and I'm at 400 subs. I think it's pretty good for doing something like Eve.
it is very good.
But
And plus,
yeah,
I
but I
think
will.
you have quite a bit of quite a bit of guys who will be able to follow you from an active player base. So you have a lot of following from that as well.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should try Lagrange or whatever that was. Or maybe I should try some other game. I don't know. We just see what
Well,
happens.
the other game that I would recommend, even though this is part of our video, is Star Trek Fleet Command. To be honest, the game is way more simple than Eve. It is quite punishing, similarly to Eve, but the big bonus about it is new servers pop up every once in a while. So if you fail on your first attempt to get big, you can always take another attempt on another server. And I believe you have server migrations or universe migrations. So every once in a while, you can jump with your power to the place where you used to fight, where they were keeping you from growing, and you can try and get your vengeance and try to grow in that same spot. And to be honest, that's a good game to look at. I did play Star Trek Fleet
All right.
Command for a while. I did quite well in the game. I was a bit of a tyrant, unfortunately. So I was one of
Yeah.
those idiots who loved killing everybody. And I learned my lesson from being one of those big idiots who kills everybody. I learned to cool down when I went to the next game, which was Ark of War. And then I came all the way over to Eve and I totally cooled down. I didn't take part in PvP because I have this horrible habit of slaughtering everybody around me and taking the number one mantle. And there's no number one mantle in this game, so what's the use in doing it in Eve?
Oh no, it's not. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because
Yeah. Well, I will try.
kill marks are
I
pointless.
try. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No problem. I was just gonna say that I will try. I will see if I can spread my wings a bit into other games. But there was something I was going to say when I got interrupted.
So sorry.
But yeah, no problem. It wasn't important, probably. But yes, yeah, okay, I remember. It doesn't matter kind of what game I'm playing. So if I'm moving to another game, I think that would work too. But I would still fight for Eve Echoes, of course. But the main idea with my channel is to just make fun videos, make a bit of jokes here and there, not taking everything too serious. But still, I have a lot of knowledge, of course, in the game, so it's not like I'm just shooting from the hip. I know stuff, so but I'm still making it
Sorry.
funny and helpful.
Sorry, the shooting from the hip, it immediately took me to the event. Just thinking about it immediately.
Yeah, yeah, that
Oh,
was definitely a short. It was from the time he got ported. It was 10 minutes. Yeah,
so anyway, when I started off in Eve, this is just for the total honesty on what I did. When I started off and I couldn't understand what the damage types meant, I literally said, I don't understand what these damage types are. I'm just going to call them whatever I want to, but they match up with your shields. So obviously they have an effective rating against us. And I at least used some type of information to try and figure out where I was going. When it came to the power scales, when it came to the power grid and the capacitor usage, I didn't say anything till I figured out what it was when I started using heavy usage items. And then I figured it out and I figured out my configuration with the prototype rigs. And once all of that was done, it was
yeah.
so simple to do things in the game. I kept using my Zenu for fun. To be honest, I really enjoyed the Zenu. It's a unique ship. It's the only faction ship of its class. But
The banana boat, the banana ship.
yeah, the banana ships, the banana destroyer and the banana battle
Yeah,
cruiser, they're the only ones of their kind. There's no other ship like them. There's no faction destroyer besides that destroyer. There's no faction battle cruiser. Obviously, I'm going on a tangent here. There is a big market opportunity if they expand the game, but it doesn't look like they're going to do it anytime soon. Introducing a whole new class of vessels in those particular slots will really be a tough thing for the devs to do. I don't want to see them even try because I'm just getting a headache from imagining the mess they'll make. Uh,
uh-huh. But yeah, I heard that they are talking about the Canyu battleship or whatever.
yeah. No, it was supposed to
But
launch
yeah, I'm
on an official
yeah.
note, we were given information about the launch of Sovereignty, and all the way up to Nihilist Space. Nihilist Space was supposed to come with the Zenus. Nihilist Space was supposed to open you up into wormhole space, and the pirate faction of that particular wormhole space was supposed to be the Zenu. So you were supposed to fight
Yes.
the Yen and acquire the parts to make your Zenu and your Kenyu, and those were supposed to be your faction ships. And they were supposed to be unbelievably powerful compared to what we had. But it doesn't look like it went
Yeah.
through. Honestly, during that whole nihilist space story, when I found out that they were just little niche pockets for you to do dead space ratting, I got so frustrated with the game and I just gave up on it. It was a
Yeah.
pre-release because we had all this information way in advance. To be honest, we had the information about what was coming back in November last year. So yeah, we had a lot of time to get our information up, get everything ready. They told us it was going to be exactly what was in EVE Online, and we got such a shock when we saw what happened because they totally changed everything around.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we just have to wait and see.
Hmm.
But yes, if I start the Lagrange, I don't even know what it is. I don't
Infinite
even know
Lagrange
if I
has
hear what you say. Lagrange. I don't know.
Infinite Lagrange hasn't yet
Infinite.
officially
Okay,
launched.
I would just call it infinite. I would just
Yeah.
call it infinite. Infinite L.
It's
If I do that, I will
yeah.
private message you and I will ask what kind of guild, corp, whatever, where you are, whatever,
Actually,
and we might do
it's
something
currently in
together. I
closed
don't know.
beta. It's currently in closed beta. If I'm correct, it's only set to launch
I'm
this
sorry.
month or
Yeah.
next month into official. So we have to wait till next month for the official release of Lagrange. And I want to go in with the team, to be honest, because when you start solo, things feel so scary. And when you make friends and you have fun and you play without bringing your name into a game or your past experience, it makes things a lot more fun. And when you come in with friends and you're all on that same beat, then people feel like you're more approachable. Because if someone sees the name Elementary 72 and they say, hey, you know what? He used to be an Eve YouTuber. Nah, I don't want to be friends with him. He has a habit of being a spy. I don't want that to happen to me. Obviously,
That's true.
I could take over one of the corporations, sit on the top, and then I don't have to worry about being called a spy. Because even if I am a spy, what difference does it make? I'm in charge of everything. Why would I try to kill my own corp? uh, I think that's gonna be about it for this video, right, Chiefs?
Uh, Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My phone. I just got a phone call. Sorry. I just shut it down.
Okay.
But yes, I understand that you don't want that reputation to follow that way. But okay, we just see what happens, and I will actually look into this Infinite L, and we see what that is.
Yeah, just search up NetEase Games. It's on their development list. Okay, cool.
Yep.